Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to install the Wilson Combat short reach trigger on a 92 series Beretta. In addition to reducing trigger reach, the Wilson Combat short reach trigger is CNC machined from heat treated steel. So it's an upgrade over the factory polymer trigger. When installing the short reach trigger, I highly recommend installing the Wilson Combat trigger conversion unit. The unit is a replacement for the trigger return spring that improves reliability by eliminating the trigger return spring breakage, reduces spring stacking, and reduces power for a lighter pull. Okay guys, after you move your slide and your grips, the first thing you're going to do is take off the slide catch. Now take out the slide catch, you're going to push it up, and you're going to pull it out, and be careful, there's a spring. That's the spring. Okay. Now the next thing you're going to do is remove the hammer spring right here with that pin. If you don't know how to do that, I have a video on how to remove the hammer spring. All right. Now you're going to remove the hammer pin. Then the hammer. And go over to the other side. And you have this spring right here, this weird looking spring. You're going to remove that. Usually just push it down and forward. Typically does it. Or it'll fly off. Okay, so the correct way to remove the spring, don't do it like I did, is to take something like this. There you go. And then come up from the bottom. There you go. Now you want to remove the trigger bar, this thing right here. All you do is just pull it up like that. Okay, then you want to remove this trigger pin. Should be able just to push it through. Okay, so in there's the trigger. It's going to come up just like that. And the trigger will be the original trigger spring. And here is the Wilson Combat short reach trigger. They don't look a whole lot different. They feel a good bit different though. Okay, so you're going to take your new trigger. You're going to slide it in there. Shouldn't need a file or anything. Should go perfect. So we're going to line up this hole right here. That hole, we're going to line it up. Put our trigger pin back in. Have to come in from the left side. Okay. Take our unit conversion. Our conversion unit. This isn't science class. Not doing unit conversions. We're putting in a conversion unit. Okay. So the way this goes is it's going to lay down like that. So it's going to be in there like that. So make sure, probably easier to do it over here. No, it won't. So watch out for that trigger pin falling out. So best way to do it, so it's gonna be like this. The best way to do it is put it in like that. Okay. So I'm gonna drop it in here. So we get it lined up. Oopsies. It wants to go down. So it helps if you keep it vertical, but it's hard to demonstrate if it's vertical. I don't think you guys can see that. But that hole right there between the spring and the trigger, you want to take your trigger bar and you want it in that hole. Okay. So make sure it's in there. Great. Okay, once it's in there, go ahead and put their trigger bar spring back on. So keep your finger underneath this trigger pin. Take your spring. Get a little hole right here. Just go like that. Okay. And you're going to push it down. And it pretty much just pops into place real easily. So now it should move. There won't be any resistance yet, but at least it will move. Okay. All right, now go back to the other side. Put your hammer back in. Hammer pin. Okay. What you're going to do is you're going to push that flat end of the spring down in there. Okay. So it'll be there at the very bottom. Okay, so after you get your hammer pin back in, keep your finger right here, turn upside down, and that little piece right there just fell into there. You want to make sure your spring goes in there on through that. And again, if you're not sure how to do that, watch the video. So there's a little piece in there. You want to get the spring. You want it to go through the spring. So it should be in the middle of the spring. Just like that. Okay, so if you stick this in here, it should stop. Okay. Now you're going to take your lanyard cap, actually, yeah, take your lanyard cap and put that back on. Check both sides, make sure it's about even on both sides. Okay. Make sure that pulls. Great. All right. Now to put the slide catch back on. This can be a little tricky. So slide catch away from you, it's going to go on like this. Okay. If you turn it around, it's going to go on like that. All right. This flat piece will rest up against, go through here, and there's a little notch right here. Right there is a notch for that flat piece. Okay. Okay, so when the spring is on the slide catch, it should look like that. So you have this piece resting on that notch. This right angle is just hanging down and pointing to the left. When you turn around, we point to the right. Okay. So this right angle, it's going to go into this little hole. Okay. Once you get into that little hole, this hole right here, that's what's going to hold in the trigger pin. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Probably not. So I'll show you again. So there's a little tiny hole right here. I'll try to take some pictures and post them up. Okay. Once you do that, you're going to swivel it inwards and upwards, just like that. Okay. You're in. Might take you a few tries. So the pin went through the top right here behind the slide catch, down this little tiny hole, and now the pin is holding in the spring is holding in the trigger pin. Okay. All right, that should be it. Just make sure to put your slide back on and test the double action, the single action. Make sure you turn the safety on or your decocker and it decocks the gun. And if you have a safety, make sure the safety is on and make sure you pull the trigger and nothing happens. All right, guys, I hope that was helpful. Please like my video and subscribe to my channel. Thanks, guys.